into place.
Fell into place. So in the district, and how many years at Star overall?
So it's my 5th year in the district, all of them at Star.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay, that's awesome.
Yep.
So, Elizabeth, I'm understanding it's the University of Lynchburg. Is that where we got our BS degree
That
from?
is correct. It was Lynchburg College when I went there, but now it's University of Lynchburg.
Okay, yeah. When they changed it, they
They
changed the names. What did they do? I understand that. So, what happened at college or began setting you on the path to become a trainer?
Yeah, so I knew I wanted to go into something in the realm of orthopedics, medicine, something in that field. And then I was taking a class my first year of school. It was emergency management and like athletic injuries. And I had a professor come up to me and she was like, "You were in the wrong field." I was at an ex-phys major at the time, and it was an athletic training course. She was like, "You were in the wrong field." She was like, "I want you to come talk to our program director." I went and talked to the program director, and she had me take an intro class over the summer, and I was like, "Yep, this is it." So from there, the ball was rolling. Didn't look back.
That's pretty special for both of you. Chris, can you kind of outline, for those who may not understand, what does a typical day look like as an athletic trainer?
Well, like for us, with Oklahoma City schools, we'll go in, like I go in at lunch and take care of any injuries, look at any new injuries, treatments, heat, muscle stim, that type of stuff. And then that way after school, I'm there, and we're all there at our schools, and we're prepping the kids for practice or the game that night. You know, it might be taping, helping them stretch and warm up a little bit, whatever it happens to be. In between that time, we're kind of getting everything set up for practice or for the game, maybe getting water, getting our supplies ready, you know, on the sideline, communicating with the coaches if need be. Hey, I need to make sure I see this kid, or, you know, this is what's going on with this athlete. And, you know, and then we just practice or games, we kind of sit back and watch.
Right,
You
of
know?
course, of course. You're also got to be a fan of it. Got to be a fan of it.
Yeah.
So, Liz, how do you balance? Because there's obviously times where there's some practices and there are some that have games,
Yeah.
and then you also have to deal with those who are still following up from injuries and things of that nature. How does that come into play?
For sure. I mean, communication is so important between athletes, coaches, admin, whoever's involved. I do a lot of, hey, we'll look at the games for the week. Okay, we're going to schedule rehab for Tuesday, Thursday because you play on Monday, Friday, or however we need to split it week to week. Yeah.
No, it's all right. No, that's fine. I mean, sometimes the answer is really basic, so it's not really a problem. How do you build, Chris, student-athlete trust? I mean, because the first thing they have to be able to understand is to be able to trust that you have their best interest in heart. And nowadays, you know, things have changed. Everybody's an expert. They look things up online, and I know more. How do you build the trust with the athletes and then move it to the parents?
I mean, big part of it is the coaches. You know, they're going to know, a lot of times they know the athletes better than we do, especially initially because they're seeing the athlete every day. And then just, you know, I joke with them a lot, you know, get to know them that way. You know, we're laughing at different, you know, whatever. You know, something happened that day at school or in the news. And then, you know, the experts, you know, that they've become, you know, show me on your phone, you know, where'd you see that? Let me, you know, and maybe the next day I'll come back. Okay, you know, this is what you're saying. This is what, you know, we'll adjust from there.
Right.
You know, with it. So, you know, they're not totally wrong a lot of times, but we need just to adjust their thinking as well.
Right. So both of you work at different schools, so there are different climates of those kind of understanding. What do you find, Liz, that at Grant that also could be building that trust that you have to work around?
Yeah, so this was my first year at Grant, so I was coming out the gate with like, okay, like I'm brand new to everyone, brand new to the coaches, brand new to the kids, so it's just getting to know them. One of my favorite things to do starting somewhere is like a question of the day. So we'll put a question of the day up on the board, we'll start debates. I mean, is a taco a sandwich? Is a hot dog a sandwich? Like things that get them, how many holes are in a straw? Like I'm talking, we have to get them to quiet down because the whole hallway is packed talking about how many holes are in a straw? You know, we like you said, we laugh, we joke, getting to know them, asking them questions like, oh, who are your sports teams? Oh, what do you like to do on the weekend? Like just getting to know them beyond being an athlete, beyond being a student, like who are you as a person? And I think that's a huge part of healthcare, and giving good healthcare is like, I see you as a person, not just as a student athlete.
That's awesome. Now, 1 year at Grant, have you been in the district before?
No, this is my very first year in the
So
district.
all the way around.
All
Okay.
brand new.
All right. So talk to me a little bit about those difficult moments when, because every game is important to a kid. There's not one game that's not. If I don't play this game, you know, this
end of
doesn't
the world.
the end of the world,
Yeah.
all that. How do you? What are some of the criteria that goes into evaluating an injury and whether someone's hurt or injured and whether they should or should not play?
Yeah, I mean, it turns into, again, like that line of communication between coaches, between me and the athlete, me and the parents, whoever is involved in that conversation. I mean, we just have to look at, hey, this is where you're at this week, this is what you're feeling, and we need to be, you know, it could be day to day. We could be on Thursday trying to make a decision for a Friday night game. But it's just looking at, hey, like, how are you feeling? Let's be honest. I know you want to play tomorrow, but there are so many more games in your athletic career that, hey, maybe it's not worth pushing it and risking it tomorrow. Or maybe it's a situation where, you know, you're a senior, it's a playoff game, it's something like that. Okay, we might not be able to get you in 100%, but how can we work with you? How can we get you in to be able to do something and perform at the best of your ability, but also being safe?
Chris, the other side of that, making that tough decision is also you guys have to also look at the well-being of the athlete, and that also entails sometimes mental. Right now, there is so much emphasis on winning. At Oklahoma City Public Schools, they're looking at the holistic experience, not just our wins and losses. They're looking at it for the experience of the child, development, the camaraderie, educational aspect of it. But the part that often of the game that is not talked about also is the mental, where psychologically it does affect. I'm not asking for any specific cases, but obviously, do you find yourself having to step in certain situations on
Yeah,
that?
absolutely. I mean, we're a shoulder to cry on, you know, at times. That being said, we're also the bearer of bad news, you know, at times. So they're upset with us. You know, they're mad at us. And like I'll tell my coaches or, you know, a parent even, let them be mad at me. I'm the one that's pulling them. Even if it's not necessarily me, you know, it's like the coach is like, hey, they're done. Let them be mad at me, because that relationship with the coach, to me, is a little bit more important, you know, as opposed to that really. I mean, I want them to have a good relationship with me as well, and we'll work through it, and we do. But yeah, I mean, I've had, you know, closed doors conversations with kids a lot, you know, not even necessarily anything that has to do with sports.
And that's got to be some of the more difficult situations. Looks like you wanted to add something to that.
Absolutely. I mean, just him saying like, oh, they're going to be mad at you, and it's okay if they're mad at me on Friday night, Tuesday night, whatever night of the week it is. When 99% of the time when I see that athlete again, they're like, thank you. Like, thank you for holding me out. Like, I didn't need to go back in. I really wanted to, but yeah, you were right. Or yeah, I think we need to look at getting this checked out. I feel like it's like they have to come to terms with it. But again, that just builds the relationship even stronger. They're able to lean on us. We're able to help them bounce back in whatever way they need. And whether that's a pat on the back, or we're going through rehab with them, or we're sending them to the doctor and making a game plan, like it's step by step, day by day. And I think they appreciate it in the long run.
That's pretty awesome, guys. I'll let either one of you answer this one. When it comes to, I'm going to make you both smile when I say this, parents, because the athlete communication is one thing, but now, you know, parents often nowadays put more pressure on their children, not necessarily by choice, meaning that they're not meaning to. Some of them are. There are others that have this intention that my child is the next superstar or my next Division I, you know, groundbreaking. And so when they hear an opinion from an athletic trainer at the school, how do those relationships go from the student athlete to the parent? What's the most important part of getting of that communication? I'm sure when you've had to have those closed conversations, there's a parent involved also.
Yeah, I mean, there will be at some point. Absolutely. You know, I'll see the kid at school and the parents, you know, at work or something. But then, yeah, getting the parents involved and keeping communication lines open, being honest with them about, you know, the injury, you know, the state of mind that their son or daughter is in, is huge because, I mean, they know that child the best. So, and sometimes they'll give us some good insight,
Oh, absolutely.
you know, about them, you know, hey, this will trigger them, or, you know, this has helped them out, you know, at home or whatever. So we take that and you run with it. But the big thing is just getting that trust, earning that trust with the parent.
To evaluate. I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Is
It's
there anything else need to be added?
Yeah, it's 100% collaborative with the parents, and I can say from experience that I've only been here for a year, but in other districts I've been in, the parents end up being like longtime friends because you build a relationship with them over their children, and you keep that relationship keeping up with their children, keeping up with them over the years. And I've been blessed with really amazing families that I've gotten to connect with, and I'm excited to connect with more OKCPS families that way.
No, that's pretty awesome, guys.
Yeah.
That's awesome, the profession that you do. So, all right. So, what are some big misconceptions that come out in terms of the athletes and their training? Because a lot of folks do not step into the sport with the right mindset. If you're swimming, there are some definite things that are going to go on, breathing, running, of those natures. Same thing with track, but it's also relative. And you start going to cross country, and different styles and different sports require different things. I guess what I'm really asking is, what is something that you wish that parents understood better or athletes understood better before participating in some of the sports that they choose?
Just the physical demands of that particular sport. You know, at your higher levels, at your collegiate levels, at your pro levels, because, you know, football conditioning is different than basketball or baseball or volleyball. Your body has to be trained for it, and they a lot of times are not ready for, you know, the hard demands and even the mental aspect of it to be successful, what it's going to take, you know, to be successful at that particular sport for them.
I understand that, Elizabeth.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just understanding that each, like you said, each sport is going to come with a different demand. I remember even from being in high school, going from volleyball season to basketball season, and that first week of basketball being so painful. We're doing, you know, defensive slides. My thighs are on fire. But, you know, every sport has its own demand. So, yes, you just finished wrestling season, but you're going out to track now, and now your shins hurt. Well, maybe we need to look at, okay, are we wearing the appropriate footwear? Are we doing the appropriate things to prepare for practice? Are you stretching the right way? Are you recovering the right way? So it's just, I mean, I wish I would have even known that as I was going through, but, you know, each one has its own demands, and each one is going to have its own challenge. So just being adaptable and pushing through that to some degree.
If you're listening on OKC Sports Radio, we're talking with two great athletic trainers from Oklahoma City Public Schools, Chris Dooley from Star Spencer and Elizabeth Hamilton for U.S. Grant. Guys, we're getting close to the end. It's gone by really, really fast in terms of this opening round question, so I'm going to turn it over. One of the other aspects that a lot of parents talk about is how does the trainers ensure safety with the coaches while still trying to stay competitive? Because a lot of times, like in football time, the temperature is up, hydration is important. How do you guys work with the coaches oftentimes in terms of the challenges of what they're trying to do? So I'm just going to throw a scenario out there, and you guys tell me, Maurice, you're not a coach, and you're right, I'm not. So if I'm a basketball team and I'm saying, hey, my guys we don't have enough endurance, we're going to start running more drills that try to bring up wind or bring up endurance. How do you talk to them saying, okay, so I need to make sure I have some certain things available, or do you have to set things up with the coaches to kind of let them know this is a better way to try to set that up for the athletes based upon the chemistry of what you're trying to focus on?
A lot of it is just, you know, pre-practice just the preparation, sitting down with the coach. What do you want to achieve? And like, we're not personal trainers. That does, we've got some of our education is in that as well. But, talking to the coach and saying, okay, these are your goals. This is what, safely, you can do. And maybe it's a progression thing. You start off low and just work to get that goal. How soon do you want to be there? How hard can we push, the kids? And you'll have some that, they don't play a fall sport, but they play basketball. Their conditioning should be for basketball then, leading up to it. Whereas your football kids, they need to change their conditioning a little bit now and how they're doing things for that sport. So a lot of it's just communication ahead of time.
All right. Do you find that necessary? I mean, because each school does certain things well. So, for example, Grant might have more interest in soccer, and while Star Spencer may say, well, we're trying to really develop our basketball program. Both schools may say have different goals, so that requires you to have a different skill set to try and address those things.
Right. So, I mean, I agree with what he was saying as far as like making sure things are done safely. For the most part, I have had coaches be like, hey, we're going to really push it today. Is the weather good outside? Specifically like soccer, like, hey, are we good to, or football, are we good to push it today? All right, well, let's check and see what we're looking at for this afternoon. They'll come to me 9, 10 o'clock in the morning. Do you think we're good? Do you think we're good? And I'm like, you know what? I wish I was a meteorologist. I'll do my best. But we do have...
Of course you are.
Right,
of course you are.
Basically part-time. But no, we do have a lot of great things in place. We follow all of the NATA guidelines and guidelines that are set forth for us to make sure that our athletes are participating safely, and we monitor things. We check in with each other. We have apps and notifications set up to know, like, hey, can we do this? Can we not do this? And also just if I know it's a hard day, like, hey, do you have athletes? Do you have your inhaler today? Do you have everything you need today? So that we can make sure, like, we're not putting kids in a compromised situation just because we're trying to push it a little bit harder.
Right. Final question. Is there a particular type of injury that kind of resonates to both of you that you've seen an increase of here recently? Is there any of those type of things that you can share?
I see a lot more soft tissue, I feel, in the spring, especially with soccer and track. Sore calves, tight quads, tight hamstrings, hamstring strains, hip flexor tightness, groin tightness. Those are the big heavy hitters I have, especially in the springtime with soccer and track. Baseball hasn't been driving me too wild. They've been pretty easy to manage. They just want to come get their wrists taped. But everybody, I got to have the drip, got to look cool. But that's also part of it. You got to be able to provide that.
Can't just have to make the wrap cool.
We have to make it cool. It's like, what color do you want today? What are we feeling?
Okay. All right. Okay, that's interesting. That should have been one I asked as well. Anything on yours?
I mean, we don't have soccer at Star Spencer, so we've got track and baseball going on right now. A lot of it is just, like she said, the soft tissue stuff. And a lot of the times, first question I'll ask a kid, did you stretch out? Did you warm up? How long did you do it? How were you warming up your mouth more so than your body, which tends to happen a lot.
Can't imagine that. That never happens. No one comes to you and ever says that. You know what? I was actually talking. I was talking through my warm-up, but I didn't warm up.
Yeah. And I'll go out there and, help the kids stretch, which they tend not to be fond of.
Really?
Because, I'm actually stretching them.
Right. Flexibility?
Yeah. That's the big thing, is just the education part of it, so that we don't have those injuries occurring. Some things, broken bones, can't really help, but a lot of the soft tissue stuff you can.
Well, guys, this has been an educational experience for me, and I hope it was for our listeners this evening, of course, talking with Chris from Star Spencer and Elizabeth from U.S. Grant. But tonight we're celebrating the people who help keep our athletes in the game. And as we continue National Athletic Training Month, a special edition on this show, we will welcome 2 more professionals who played a critical role. Their boss is coming. Next. We'll talk to her in just a few minutes. This is the Oklahoma City Public School Coaches Show.
Yeah. Walk in. Heads turn. Say my name once. You gon' learn. Yeah. Yeah. Whole room hush. I ain't even said much yet. Eyes on me when I move. That's a quiet flex. Stay down. Now the numbers talk. I don't chase. I just walk. Same ones laugh at the plan. Now they trying to join the camp. Too late. I am him. Say it once, say it twice. Let it sink in. Let it sink. I am him. From the ground to the crown. Yeah, I did this. Yeah, I did. Write my name in the air when I walk in. If you talk about the truth, gotta start with I am him. 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 Turn my losses into leverage, turn my scars into leverage. Every doubt was a diamond mine. I dug deep, now it's effortless. Big talk, but the work different. Same street, but the past shifted. I don't brag, I just back it up. Every goal that I wrote, I lived it. I am him. Say it once, say it twice, let it sink in. I am him. From the ground to the crown. Yeah, I did this. Write my name in the air when I walk in. If you talk about the truth, gotta start with I am him. I am him. I am him. Pull up, pull up. Chrome hearts in the sun. Whole lane look stun. Yeah.
Yeah, we gon' run.
Yeah, yeah. Pedal to the flow, neck on frost. Lane shift clean, never took a loss. C-stitch red, talking blood type boss. Shorty in the past side, laughing at the cost. Gas on loud, engine talk rough. Zeros on the dash, looking big enough. City in the mirror, but it ain't catching up. If it ain't first place, then it ain't us.
We racing these luxury cars, no limit,
No limit.
Stand at the stars, through the roof while we in it.
We in it.
Left, right, drift, let the tires keep spinning. If life is a race, we already winning.
We racing these luxury cars,
Top lifted, speeding through the night like the whole world shifted. Shift dark, take glass, but the grind still vivid. If life is a race, we already winning. Pearl paint drip like the glass on my wrist. Every red light, just a chance for a flick. He talk big, but I move too quick. Slide to his side, then I leave him in the mist. He say slow down, I say why would I? Wings on the doors like they ready to fly. Every mile mark up, watch the worries go by. I don't chase nothing but the view in the sky. We racing these luxury cars, no limit.
no limit.
Stand at the stars, through the roof while we in it.
We in it.
Left, right, drift, let the tires keep spinning. If life is a race, we already winning.
We racing these luxury cars,
Top lifted, speeding through the night like the whole world shifted. Shift dark, tint glass, but the grind still vivid. If life is a race,
Yeah.
we already winning.
You in my rear view, look a little slow.
I take one turn, you lose that glow.
Yeah, I got more torque than the talk they throw.
I got more shine than the chain you show.
Bet the pink slip
Bet the whole lot.
when the light turn green.
We already off the block. We racing these luxury cars, no limit.
No limit.
Staring at the stars, through the roof while we in it.
We in it.
Left, right, drift, let the tires keep spinning. If life is a race, we already winning.
We racing these luxury cars,
Top lifted, speeding through the night like the whole world shifted. Shift dark, tint glass, but the grind still vivid. If life is a race,
Coaches Show. Oh yeah. See, for those who are listening on the radio and of course streaming live on PPBC TV, that is known as a radio segue. Nicely done by Wes Wilder in studio, who played the show promo right before we returned back to live action. So Wes, we do appreciate it, but I still have to list off the sponsors. Hey, tonight's event is being brought to you by Metrotech Technology Centers, also sponsored by TTCU Federal Credit Union, Dental Depot, Bedford Photography, Grinmore Sneaker Boutique, All About Now Photography, Sam's Club, Rock Recruit Oklahoma, SSM Health, OCCC, Super Prep, Just Burgers, and of course Perry Publishing and Broadcasting Company. We just finished training with a first set of trainers. Now we've brought the boss, and they drew straws, and someone else had to join her. And now it's been a great time having this opportunity. I am here now with, of course, Northwest Class and High School site athletic trainer, which would be Casey Seitz, who's here, and of course district athletic trainer Andrea Legg. Good evening to you guys both. Thank you so much for coming and being a part of this tonight.
Of course, thanks for having us.
So Casey, so I am understanding that there is a little bit of Boomer in the blood.
That there is. There's a lot, even though it seems everyone else is an OSU fan.
Oh, imagine that. Imagine that, right? I mean, how does that happen? So where did the desire and the want to be the trainer come into?
It was actually at OU, so I was taking a couple classes for pre-physical therapy, and I met the head basketball athletic trainer, Alex Brown, and he taught a class at OU that was care and prevention. He said, come take my class, come see what you like. Took it, shadowed a bunch of basketball with him, and fell in love with it.
Okay, so it's been that mark. Now, for Andrea, your path before becoming, of course, the district happens to run through a little area of Fort Worth where there's a love for this purple horned frog thing, TCU. So talk to me about the path that led you, and then when were you granted the great role of being, district athletic trainer?
Okay. I actually kind of figured out that I wanted to be an athletic trainer kind of young. I don't think any of my employees have actually heard this story.
I don't think I have.
Oh, wow, I'm interested. Good stuff. I asked the right question right out the gate. Yeah. Go ahead.
I remember having conversations with some of my friends, even in as early as middle school, of, we loved sports. We wanted to be around sports, but I, for one, knew I was not good enough to be that college athlete or anything like that. So I early in life wanted to be a doctor, but when I found this thing that combined medicine and sports, I was just like, this works perfect. I get to watch sports for a living. So I actually was a student athletic trainer in high school in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And then when I went into my undergrad years, I did go to TCU, go Frogs. It was an amazing program there. Hey.
This is the right people to have at the same time. Go ahead.
Right? So I loved the program. I felt at home as soon as I walked onto that campus. And it has grown so much since then. But all of the people that were involved, from our program director to our clinical coordinators to just all of our professors, they just, and preceptors, they really just instilled a confidence in you. And that you can go out and do whatever you want to do in this profession. And they would help you as much as they needed to. I had our head athletic trainer hand-delivered my resume to the University of New Mexico, which is where I did my graduate work, and just put all the faith in me and told them that they needed to hire me, period, end of story. So it was just a great support system there, and it felt like a family before I even was part of it. So TCU athletic training was a huge, huge part of my life.
Oh, that's awesome. If he's still around, tell him I want him to walk my... No. So, Casey, coming back to you, how do you educate athletes on recovery, hydration, and long-term health?
Oh, that's been a very key part of our job here. A lot of our athletes, they don't know what to expect. They don't know, a lot of them either have not been in athletics for long or haven't been injured before. Telling them that if you imagine it's a pyramid, nutrition and sleep is that bottom base. That has to be factor number one. If you want to be healthy, if you want to be strong, if you want to play well, if you want to recover well from an injury, if you're not getting good sleep and good food, which is not McDonald's. I tell them all the time they get it anyway.
And Takis.
And and any other sugary snack that they can find their hands on, they love. It's just telling them that they will feel better, they will play better, they will perform better with all those basics checked.
I appreciate that. Now, what are the key differences, Andrea, from, I want to say from being over at a single school versus overseeing programs across a district?
That's been my biggest learning curve, to be completely honest, since the beginning of when I took this position. My entire career, I've just been at one school. You go and you support that one school. You do everything you can for those athletes to get them back on the field. And now I just have to look at it as a whole picture. I support all of the kids. I don't just cheer for one school. I cheer for all of them. I have some great people underneath me, and I just kind of let them do their thing. I don't try to micromanage them, because I feel like we put them in this position for a reason. I had confidence in them. I felt like they could do the job. And why am I going to sit there and just hover over them and tell them, oh, you need to do this instead? They're perfectly capable. They're great athletic trainers, and they're there to support their high schools and their students there. So I'm just there to support them and back them up as I can. Mm-hmm. So I hope that that's kind of what comes across in my leadership style. I also am the kind of person that I don't want to just be sitting in my office all day. So I try to go out to as many different activities and our different district tournaments and things like that as much as I can, just as they do.
And I can touch on that too. One thing that Andrea does great for us is she allows, like she said, she doesn't micromanage us. She allows us to do what we need to do. And then when we need to order things for, supplies for the year, when we need to have these big high level meetings and everything, we can just kind of pass that her way, and she'll shield us from all of the other stuff. She'll get all the orders put in. She'll do all the paperwork, and it really gives us the freedom to just focus on treating the athletes.
That is a great answer, Casey. I just want to give Chris and Liz a chance to come over here and get all those brownie points, because you're over here saying, oh, she's doing awesome. No, I'm just playing. No, but that's what you want, and that's the greatest example that you want. District-wide, from a district-wide perspective, because I don't think sometimes the trainers are often overlooked and not appreciated. That's why this opportunity to talk about that. But can you elaborate a little bit on how important it is for district-wide success for athletic programs? The trainers are a part of that?
Oh, 100%. It's kind of the unsung hero at the end of the day. I mean, we're the ones that try to get that kid back out there as soon as the coach needs them to. The team needs the support, and district-wide, we make sure that we take care of every athlete that we have. We try to touch base with middle school athletes. We try to touch base. I mean, all of them have seen athletes from their feeder middle schools as well. So we filter down a little bit. We cover elementary track meets in the spring as well. And so we try to reach all of the kids that we can. At the end of the day, it's about the kids, and we want to make sure that it's better for them. And our athletic trainers are just there kind of really just as a support system, and whether that be physically, mentally, emotionally, the stories that athletes feel comfortable telling us, just because we're there and we provide a listening ear. All of this is, I mean, sometimes you're a psychologist and sometimes you're a meteorologist, and we have a little bit of everything, and all of that plays into making sure that everybody in our district is healthy and safe.
So I'm going to ask a question to you that actually has a part 2 to it.
Okay.
So from a site perspective at Northwest, what steps do you take to prevent injuries, not just treat them?
Oh, for sure. We do a lot of preventative stuff. One big thing, and not to get more brownie points, but she encouraged it too, is we use a program called SWAY for our concussion management, doing a baseline test for the kids so we know where their mental status is, where their performance status is prior to a head injury or potential head injury. Doing that is our number one thing. Our physicals, making sure every student on file has a physical, making sure that they filled it out correctly, which sometimes we're I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but we make sure we can read and edit their handwriting.
Legible.
Legible, yeah.
There you go.
Because they were sometimes what they turn in is not English, or characters that you can read. It's a mess. We do a lot of that. A lot of it too is in football specifically. We do a lot of heat maintenance. So when it's out and it's early August for football and softball, making sure that it's not too hot out, making sure that we're pushing practice times to later in the evening or earlier in the morning. It's a little bit colder out. Making sure that we have proper equipment, football helmets, football pads, softball helmets, not to just brag on football. Everybody has equipment that fits them properly, that is sized properly, and that they're wearing correctly, which is sometimes something you'd be surprised about. All that stuff goes
Yeah,
into
because
it.
that doesn't make me look cool.
Yes, it's the swag.
All of that goes into it of just like that's just before you even step on the field. And then we're watching it from, I had the other day in a baseball game, we had a pitcher warming up and somebody was running across the field and ran directly across where the pitcher was throwing. And I immediately pulled him aside and I said, "Did you not look both ways before you crossed the street?"
Considering that there was a 70-mile-per-hour or faster object, a projectile coming your way.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that. But so if you watched any of the March Madness this weekend, what I just did was Caravan's pass to Mullins, and you just knocked it down. So with that being said, he listed off a lot of things, which means for a lot of parents out there, for a lot of the public, the media, who I'm a part of, really pay attention when the negative things happen, when the child has the heat problem because they were practicing so hot during the day, when the concussion talk conversation began, when coaches, there are some rare cases where negative decisions have been made and a player was truly injured. So the position of trainers has evolved. How has it changed in the last few years, in your opinion, on putting the focus back on athlete health that really establishes trainers as a true part of every athletic program?
I think our biggest thing is prevention at the end of the day. I think we focus more on that prevention part, and if we can do that, then we're almost not really eliminating the need for us, but we're just we're trying to help those negative things that you spoke about, minimize them. With heat, we have Kestrel units that are wet bulb globe temperatures, so that helps us figure out when we need to move the practices, either in time or day or inside or whatever it might be. Concussion with sway, that gives us a good baseline. And I think technology, unfortunately, I sometimes I hate it more than I need it, but I think technology has played a really big part in that, from different apps like that help us to make decisions, to just maybe a better understanding of what an athletic trainer is. I think that has taken a big steps in the outside public or media or whoever it may be to understand what an athletic trainer does or what role we play in the whole part of things.
Now, you guys are a part of a great district with a great athletic director who truly believes in trying to make and do all that he can for not only just the schools but just for the staff and everyone who has to cover the equipment. You mentioned that technology is changing. Is that a challenge right now to get some of those things that are needed, and are there things that parents and others can help bring to the table that would help the trainers be more effective in their role?
That's a great question. We actually are right now in the process of, we just applied for a grant to get some brand new AEDs. So everybody has been hearing a lot about, maybe cardiac events, sudden cardiac events that have been occurring, at practices or games where kids or coaches even just fall down in the middle of a game or on the sideline and aren't responsive anymore. The AED is what saves that person's life. And we have gotten a grant recently where we're hoping to get a grant. We've applied for it and we should hear soon to get 35 new AEDs throughout our district that are top of the line technology wise and should just be a great thing. As far as parents or just outside population, really parents just supplying your kids and being there to support your kid. You know, the proper shoes, the proper attire, just really honestly support at the end of the day. The number of kids that I have that just don't always feel like they have that support to go home to. And so our coaching staffs or our athletic trainers or anybody else in the building provide that support. I think that's probably the most important part that a parent could do is support that kid.
But that's awesome. Casey, I just wanted to ask one question before I get to some of these events that you guys got coming up here. For anybody who's interested that says, hey, I love Andrea's statement about she understood that this was a path that she chose earlier. What of the event that you have coming up right now, coming up in about the next 30 days, is an event that will open up another opportunity for those athletes who may not be athletic to achieve or go to the next level, that they can still be a part of the sport that they love in a different way. Talked a little bit about that. I think it has a unique name for it.
I got it. If you don't need to look it up, I got one thing I do is I serve on the Oklahoma Athletic Trainers Association, which is our state association, our state board. I serve as the secondary schools committee chair. So we have a little committee that's just for secondary school athletic trainers. We can kind of talk and bounce ideas off each other. And within that role, one thing that I've brought back that we've done in the state previously is our high school student athletic training day. So last year was the first year I brought it back. We were able to host it. We had 100+ high school students there from, I think, probably 15 different high schools. And those are students that may already be in a high school student aid, student athletic trainer program at their school, or it may be somebody who doesn't have an athletic trainer at their school but heard about it through social media, heard about it through a counselor, heard about it through their health teacher, and can come to this event. They get to practice working on some taping skills, some basic stuff that we do. They just really, the main thing is they get to have fun. It's a field trip in the end of the day. It's during the school day, so they get to come out of class. They get to enjoy the, time with their friends. They get to meet people who are interested in like ideas. And then one big thing is they also get to interact with master's students who are in different college programs getting their master's degree. Those master's students will come down and teach. And high school students, believe it or not, they relate more to current college kids than they do to some of us, Chris, that have been out of college for
Wow.
They told us that they said nothing mean about us, which left the floor open for us to say mean things about them.
Oh, wow.
Shots fired.
Yeah, it was really deep. Now, is that on April 22nd?
That is. It's April 22nd. This year it is at Westmore High School, so it's unfortunately not at one of our OKCPS schools. Maybe we'll change that in a few years. But
Okay, so if you go there with the limp, I'll know that, that Chris has been treating you.
if I walk in there in a boot, it's because I threw shots there.
Understand that. Now, that being said, we also have physical nights. Ms. Andrea, can you talk a little bit about that?
Definitely. Every May, that time of year rolls around where for the following fall, every student athlete is going to need a new physical for that year. We do them in May so that they're out of the way and they're taken care of for your child for the whole school year coming up. We partner with SSM Health, OSOI, and they help us out and they give us 4 physical dates every year, every May. So I split the schools in half and I kind of pair them up, and we have 4 different sites around our district, and we're there for about 3 to 4 hours every time, and we provide anywhere from, I think our tops has been over 400 athletes get a physical in a single night. And it's just, they're great for us. We've got one at John Marshall. We have one at Douglas, one at Classen SAS Middle School, and then the last one is at U.S. Grant High School. So we try to hit kind of every area of the city to get everybody covered.
These are in May, right?
Yes.
So is there a website? Where can the parents get those dates for that?
So I can totally give them out right now.
Please.
But we also have, hey, I'm going to work with Tanner in our office, and we're going to make sure that all of the dates are posted on our page. We're also going to do some social media posts. So just kind of reminders as we get closer to get that information out there, and so that parents see it, the kids see it, coaches see it, everybody sees it.
What is the now I'm just asking, what is the estimated cost? Is it still $75 to $100 for a physical, or is that what the standard cost is for if you had to pay it out of pocket?
So if you had to pay it out of pocket and go to your doctor, I mean, it's some of the urgent cares and things are about $20.
Okay.
It'll go up from there, anywhere
Right.
from 20 to 35, 40, 50. Our physicals are free, absolutely free.
Well, in this day and time, that's an important detail. I'm just going to put it
Very
out
much
there.
so.
So, and again, 4 opportunities in the month of May, and just because it's at a particular site doesn't matter what school you attend. Is this for Oklahoma City Public Schools?
It is for Oklahoma City Public Schools. I kind of assign schools, so I usually do it by the area high school and their feeders, their feeder middle schools. But, it's one of those, if your son or daughter has an event that night and they can't make it to the night that their school is having it, then, hey, come on over to the other one. We don't want you to miss out just because you can't come to the night that your school is supposed to be there.
Okay, so if I'm a student at Star Spencer and if I can't make the John Marshall one, I can make it to the middle school one because the date works better for my calendar. That's okay.
Yes, that is totally fine.
So again, the requirement bringing student ID.
No, actually, they just need the physical form. We have a physical form. They just have to have, usually our coaches and our SACs are really good about getting buses for our kids, and they bus them to the locations. But if the parent is bringing them, as long as they have our OKCPS physical form or the OSSAA physical form, then we're gonna get them on through.
That's pretty awesome. So April 22nd, we have, of course, high school athletic training day going on. You will be there with Casey, and you'll see him. You'll be able to identify him because he'll have a limp because Chris is going to step on his toe when it's all said and done. And then physicals throughout the month of May, 4 opportunities for your child to get that. So parents, it's free. Just get them there. And 4 opportunities for them to have that. And again, Oklahoma City Public Schools trainers are partnering with SSM Health, and who was the other one?
OSOI. It's their
OSOI.
sports medicine group that works with SSM.
So that's pretty awesome overall. Both of you, thank you so much for coming in and providing such great knowledge, great understanding. I really, really, truly appreciate what you have brought to the table tonight.
Thank you
Of
for
course.
having us.
Thank you for having us. Yes.
As we wrap up tonight's special coaches show for National Athletic Training Month, we want to thank the athletic trainers across Oklahoma City Public Schools because there's more of them than just the ones that you've seen here today. The work they do every single day may not always be in the spotlight, but they are essential to the success of your athlete at your school for their safety and their future. This has been the Oklahoma City Public School Coaches Show, brought to you by Metro Tech Technology Centers, also sponsored by TTCU Federal Credit Union, Dental Depot, Bedford Photography, Grenmore Sneaker Boutique, All About Now Photography, Sam's Club, Rock Recruit Oklahoma, SSM Health, OCCC, Super Prep, Just Burgers, and Perry Publishing and Broadcasting Company. Our next Coaches Show will be on April 13th. I am Maurice Prince. I got to get off of here because there might be some training going on as soon as the camera's turning off. That would be the post-game show, but that's not going to be broadcasted. You guys have a great sports evening.